This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below.
The Browns have had a ton of quarterbacks. We all know this. Every time the Browns play a national TV game, they bring up the graphic. And I promise you, if you've seen the Browns play a national TV game recently, they probably brought up the graphic, right? And all these quarterbacks that the Cleveland Browns have had. So what I wanted to do was rank them all. Now, I'm only talking about quarterbacks who got more or equal to 8 starts with the team. So if the quarterback did not get to 8 starts, they will not be discussed in this video, because that's where I want the cutoff to be. Because I also get tired of people bringing up how many quarterbacks the Browns have had as if we like switched to every quarterback because they were full-time choices. Like, a lot of times people got hurt and you just had to start somebody else. I don't think that's really a measure of incompetence. I think the measure of incompetence should be the guys that you went with, and not just went with, you stuck with for at least a little while. And that's the quarterbacks on this list. So we're going to get into this, but before we do, I want to thank my sponsor for today's video, DraftKings. The NFL playoffs are here, and I'm teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official partner of the NFL, who's kicking off with a huge offer throughout the playoffs. All new customers will get $200 in bonus bets instantly when they place their first $5 wager on anything. Get in on the action this weekend by downloading the DraftKings app, and don't forget to use my promo code WORSTTAKE. That's right. New customers who bet just $5 will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Wondering what you can use your $200 in bonus bets on? Combine multiple bets together from the same game for a shot at an even bigger payout. If you're already signed up for DraftKings like me, you can get a no sweat bet, get a bonus bet back if your same game parlay / same game parlay X bet doesn't hit. Max reward limits apply. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have a chance to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code WORSTTAKE and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code WORSTTAKE only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. So I have this tier list in these categories. Flashes flashes to me is basically a quarterback who at least showed flashes at times, moments where you could believe that they're actually going to be good. A different world is quarterbacks that you say to yourself, hey man, in a different world, they might have been all right. At least memorable, or quarterbacks who objectively, they weren't good. We know they weren't good, but you know what? They did something that at least we remember. Then you have the next tier, which is absolutely no core memories. Like, you have no memories of this player playing quarterback. You have no plays, nothing. Like, it just, their time came and went without you thinking about it. Just bad are the players you remember for being bad, and then legendarily bad, well, kind of explains itself. So those are the tiers. Let's get the ranking. All right, so the first guy on the list is Tim Couch. Tim Couch is the prototypical, in a different world, quarterback, right? Like, maybe if he gets drafted to a better team, or maybe if the Browns have a better offensive line, or maybe if the Browns have a better coach, or maybe if the Browns have a better offense, maybe Tim Couch could have been decent. But he wasn't. He wasn't. Anybody trying to tell you that Tim Couch was like a good quarterback, it's pure revisionist history, because I remember what the conversations were around Tim Couch. And, it wasn't a conversation that we had about a quarterback that we felt like could be good. It was a lot of conversations that you have about quarterbacks who you think stink. And, unfortunately for Tim, for most of his run here, the city thought he stunk. And they probably weren't wrong about that, because remember that whole thing with Kelly Holcomb coming in, kind of taking his job, and that being another weird thing that we went through in that whole era. Just Tim Couch had a very difficult one. He went 22-37 as his time as a Cleveland Browns quarterback. In a different world, he could have been good, but in this world, he just wasn't good. All right, so that is him. The next guy is Kelly Holcomb. Now, Kelly Holcomb started 12 games for the Cleveland Browns. He went 4-8 in those 12 games. And I'll tell you right now, Kelly Holcomb was a hometown hero, was a hero in Cleveland for like 5 weeks. I remember they had a Whopper named after him in the local Cleveland markets. He was at least memorable. He was not good, but he had a couple games where we kind of remembered him. The next quarterback, who I was quite frankly shocked to find out started 8 games for the Cleveland Browns, and then I looked up his record. He was 1-7 as a Cleveland Browns quarterback. Doug Peterson, yes, the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, 1-7. Let me tell you something. Completely forgot that happened. Core memories are not unlocked with him. The next guy is Jeff Garcia, who I do remember playing quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. He just stunk. He was awful. And look, here's what makes Jeff Garcia even worse, is that the Browns didn't pursue drafting a quarterback in 2004 because of Jeff Garcia. And that didn't just cost you a chance at a good quarterback. It cost you Ben Roethlisberger, and worst, it caused Ben Roethlisberger to slide to Pittsburgh. And we all know what happened after that. So Jeff Garcia, for all that money, went 3-7. Wasn't good. He stunk. And he's the reason Ben Roethlisberger dominated us for 17 years, twice a year. So yeah, Jeff Garcia, bad. Luckily, he wasn't so bad that I put him in legendary. Trent Dilfer. I'm be honest with you. Y'all remember Trent Dilfer playing quarterback for the Cleveland Browns? I sure don't. Don't have any real significant memories of him playing quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I remember Charlie Fry playing for the Cleveland Browns, not because he was good or anything, but, he was kind of exciting. He was a big athlete. He moved around a little bit. He played football in Akron. He was from Ohio. It was kind of like a cool thing. So I'm going to just show Charlie Fry the love and put him in at least memorable. And also the most memorable thing about Charlie Fry is that he got traded and the Browns went on to win 10 games after he got traded to Seattle. So that's the most memorable thing about young Charlie Fry. All right. We are at Derek Anderson, who's the first guy that's going to be up in this category. Man, we had moments when we thought Derek could be the guy. He didn't end up being the guy, but there were moments. Derek Anderson went 16-18 as a Cleveland Browns quarterback, which is the best of any quarterback that we have seen so far on this list. Led the Browns to a 10-5 run as the starting quarterback in 2007. Man, had some of the most memorable moments in the early expansion era for the Cleveland Browns. So you got to give Derek Anderson his love, his flowers, and put him in flashes. Now, for all the noise that Brady Quinn made when he got drafted to the Cleveland Browns and when he was behind Derek Anderson, I don't remember a single Brady Quinn football highlight. I remember there was like that preseason game. He had his first preseason start where everybody got all excited. It looked all good in the fourth quarter of a preseason game, and we thought Brady Quinn was next. But other than that, I can't remember a single memorable thing that man did on the football field. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe he was very memorable. I'm struggling to remember if he even makes the cutoff here. At 8, I imagine he did because he was a first-round draft pick. At 12, 12 games, he went 3-9. I don't remember a single one of them 12 games. No core memories. No core memories. He's not less core memories than like Doug Peterson and Trent Dilfer, but boy, there are no core memories with him, man. I don't remember a single damn thing about him. So yeah. Yeah, so how I'm doing this is the one closest to this idea will be closer to the name. All right. Colt McCoy. This is easy right here. He was very memorable. Colt McCoy was super memorable as a quarterback in Cleveland. Wasn't very good, but super memorable. He went 6-15, played 21 games for the Cleveland Browns. Wasn't very good, but at least he was memorable, and he went on to have a pretty memorable NFL career. So that's good for him too. Brandon Weeden stunk, man. Brandon Weeden went 5-15 in 20 games. He started 20 games, and each one was as worse as the next one. He's famous for starting his NFL career off by getting trapped under the flag and then throwing 4 interceptions after he did that, by the way. Legendarily bad. Just legendarily bad. Now, Jason Campbell's a hard one to pin down because I saw here that Jason Campbell started 8 games for the Cleveland Browns, and I had to do a double take. He went 1 of 7 in those 8 games. And the only thing I remember about Jason Campbell is that he was one of them dudes in that highlight package throwing Josh Gordon the ball. So I'm going to just say right here, Jason Campbell has no core memories as a Cleveland Browns quarterback. Almost worse than Doug Peterson. Almost worse than Doug Peterson. Boy, I don't ever remember there being any energy or excitement about Doug Peterson. I mean, not Doug Peterson, about your boy Jason Campbell right there. Brian Hoyer, is he at least memorable or is he in flashes? He had a 10-6 overall record with the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to put him in flashes. Brian Hoyer, I would say, Brian Hoyer belongs in flashes because you know what? Between Derek Anderson and Brian Hoyer, there was legitimately nobody who started at quarterback that we actually believed could be the guy. Brian Hoyer was the next guy after Derek Anderson that we had some belief could actually be the guy at some point. Now, that was more of a Shanahan creation, but still, at some point, we kind of believed that it could happen with him. So, flashes. Absolutely. Johnny Manziel, legendarily bad. I mean, he was much worse than Brandon Weeden. I believe he won 2 games in his NFL career. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if he made it to 8. Did he make it to 8? Let me double check this real quick. Johnny Manziel made it to 8. He was 2-6. He made it to 8 games, y'all. Somehow made it to 8 games. He was bad. He stunk. There were moments where you're like, hey, he might not be completely awful. But let's be honest about it, man. It was a bad experience. You had to keep up with the shit. Like, imagine dealing with the baggage of Deshaun Watson while getting the level of on-field product that the Browns gave you in 2015. And that's basically what you had to, like, imagine all of the baggage at the end of the Baker Mayfield era, all the baggage with Deshaun Watson, but like none of the wins. You thought that was frustrating. You thought the Odell Beckham stuff was frustrating. Nah, dog. This was infinitely worse, infinitely more annoying, infinitely more covered, and also you weren't winning games. And when I say not winning games, you weren't even winning 6. You were winning like a game a year with him. Josh McCown, look, I understand people like Josh McCown, but I need to tell y'all something. Josh McCown started 11 games for the Cleveland Browns and won 1 of them. Won 1 of them. He just stunk. Like, I understand that y'all got this nice reputation of Josh McCown and people like him, but Josh McCown was booty. He was so bad in Cleveland. We were out here like, you know what, dog? Let Johnny play. That's how. Keep in mind, we signed Josh McCown after Johnny got out of rehab. And Josh McCown was so ineffective at times that we were like, hey, dog, let's see what post-rehab Johnny can do. And not only were we like, hey, let's see it, we were excited to watch it. We forget that because we like Josh McCown now, and he's turned into a good coach. And he's done well in the media, and the media liked him when he was in Cleveland. But when we was watching that, we were begging for Johnny to play because Josh McCown wasn't winning games. And that's the only reason he was here, was to try to win some games. Man won 1 out of 11. Not all his fault. The team sucked, but damn, dog. One game. Hey, you know what's better than winning? You know what's worse than winning one game? Winning no games. Shout out to the man Cody Kessler, man. My man was just bad. There's nothing to say here. He wasn't even supposed to be good. He was put in a terrible spot, all this stuff, but he still stunk. Another guy who was put in a terrible spot and didn't win a damn game is Mr. 0-15 himself. Deshaun Kaiser, legendarily bad. Ruined his career instantly. He came in talking about he was a combination of Tom Brady and Cam Newton, and he was not a combination of either of those two guys. I don't think I need to tell you guys that. We're going to skip Tyrod, Kevin, and RG3 because I don't believe they hit the 8-game threshold for the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, RG3 only played 5 games. Tyrod only started 2 games for the Cleveland Browns. So they did not hit the threshold. The next guy to hit the threshold is Baker Mayfield. And yes, you put him in flashes. There was a belief that he could be the franchise quarterback. And honestly, he is the guy that you had the strongest belief in up until this point, so, by far, right? So he's definitely in the flashes territory. Jacoby Brissett is an interesting one to put here because there was never a belief that he could be the guy. Simply because you traded for a guy that you gave $230 million guaranteed to, and he was kind of a bridge. So I'm going to put Jacoby in a different world. Like if Jacoby's career, and if somebody just saw Jacoby for the prospect that he was earlier and knew what to do with him, knew what kind of system to put him in, instead of having him run like these spreads and stuff, I feel like Jacoby would have a very different career. But unfortunately, he got pigeonholed into being a backup because they did not put him in offenses that fit early on in his career. And he's kind of just been struggling to get a chance. Every time he's gotten a chance, he's played well. But, you know, it's a league of opportunities, and that's very tough. And then the other player that we're putting in flashes, obviously, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson has started 12 games for the Cleveland Browns, has an 8-4 record. Win percentage wise, I believe that's second since 1999. Baker Mayfield 29-30. Deshaun Watson 8-4, and I think Brian Hoyer at 10-6 has everybody beat, right? Brian Hoyer. So yeah, no, actually, Deshaun Watson has the highest win percentage of all the quarterbacks since 1999 that have started 8 or more games. So Deshaun Watson's at the top. Flashes, obviously, still a lot to be desired in his run here in Cleveland, but the flashes are there. You have the moments there with Deshaun. You just want to see the consistency and his ability to stay healthy, but that might just be something that we end up always talking about with Deshaun. So lot to be said about him. Lot to be determined about him in the next few years. But that's the tier list for the Cleveland Browns quarterbacks. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.